going on, guys? It's your boy, Big Blue Drew, 97 here, to talk to you about 7 Deadly Sins, or Nanatsu no Taizai, manga chapter 328, titled The Ultimate One. And when it comes to this chapter, yeah, I'd say it was pretty ultimate. There was ultimate power thrown by Escanor, ultimate character development by Escanor, and the ultimate power of friendship. Not literally, but more metaphorically, which is always a good thing. But yes, to start off this chapter, we just see Escanor in his full The Ultimate One phase, where just the flames of the sun are just coming off of his entire body. Even his little mustache is on fire. Weirdly enough, the only place that really isn't like just purely on fire is his V-neck. So from this chapter, we know that Escanor really likes the deep V-necks. Good for him, showing off his abs. But yes, we see basically a better look at the Ultimate One form, and it is very magnificent. Mainly because it doesn't have a Demon King in his chest. Which, immediately, next thing we see is the Demon King still stuck in his chest, being surrounded by flames, to the point at which people are wondering, how is he still doing this? Because the one, or specifically Sunshine, is based off how much sun is in, like, the position of the sun, and high noon is where the sun is at its peak, which is like the 1 minute thing, where it's at its peak for a minute. So it's like a 1 minute, like, power boost, but they're like, how is he still doing this? Diane and King are thinking this, that the minute has passed. And what is even better is that the Demon King just has his hand stuck to Escanor, probably wondering the same thing. And it's like, how do I get free of this thing? And then just starts to pummel into Escanor. And just, without even missing a beat, Meliodas comes in and is like, no, this isn't Sunshine. This is him using his own life force. And it's like, and then Escanor just catches the Demon King's hand just while he's being beat. And at that moment, you just know, someone's about to die. And someone's about to get pulled into the ground. But there's a hesitation by Meliodas when he references how he's using his life force as his magic power, and he, implying that he's risking his life or he's about to die. And as soon as he says that, we see Escanor like just throw a punch, sending the Demon King flying, to the point in which the Demon King is basically like just so enraged, where he's like, okay, I'm done with this, just one-on-one. Throws like a big ball of just pure darkness at him. And during this time, we see blood spurting from Escanor's hole, which can imply that he's really pushing it. Normally, when it comes to like damage that Escanor has, it's not really as apparent. But because of the focus on it, it's showing like, oh yeah, he's taking significant damage. He's still holding his own, but like he's possibly going to die. And as this attack is coming at him, he's like, oh, I'm about to take this. But then all of a sudden, Meliodas, King, and Bond come in. Meliodas like uses his attack that I don't think we've seen in a while, counter vanishing, dispersing the attack, while Bond uses a vanishing kill, which awesome name, and King uses bursting blade rain, where he uses one of his sacred treasures, chest of folds, I think it's third form, where he just sends an entire batch of swords at the Demon King with Bond's attack, like just begin like looking to rip him to shreds. But obviously the Demon King survives this, but now Escanor is like, what are you doing? I told you that I didn't need your help. And then he's like, begins stepping towards the Demon King, and then Meliodas just steps in front of him and gives like a riveting speech, just basically like saying like, you dummy, I didn't let you on this team just so that you can go and kill yourselves. I didn't just invite you here so you could just die. It's like chastising him, and like Escanor just basically is like out of the way, and Meliodas is like, make me. Where Escanor hesitates, not because that he couldn't, but because it is his friend, it is his captain, and he doesn't want to hurt a friend. And then Meliodas eventually comes in and is like, this is not why I invited you to the team, to pull something like this. And then after that, we just see all of like the disgruntled faces of like all of the Sins. Like, obviously, like you have Bod, who's like serious, and like how Gother with his feminine wiles looks sad, as well as even Merlin looks a little bit sad by her with her expression. And then we get more development for Escanor, where he's like, basically goes back into like what we just saw in the past, like side quest, where he's like, do you remember the past? Do you remember what I used to be? I used to be someone who didn't care about my life, but I made a pledge that I will throw my lives away to protect my friends. And it's just like, you beat me down so many times, and you're so small and tiny, which is very, like, makes sense because of how prideful it is. And he's like, I was so alone, I was so sad, but you helped me find somewhere to belong. After all of this, do you have any idea just how much happiness he was? Escanor goes into this, he's being prideful about it, but it also shows his more caring side, his weaker side coming out with his pride. He's like, you were so tiny, you kept beating me down and down again. Do you know how that made me feel? It made me feel happy because it showed that people cared about him. So this is even more development for him, where it's like, yes, he has that pride persona, but it's pride in his friends. Pride that he was able to find a place to belong, and that he will risk his life to do so because he is the lion's sin of pride. And even after he gives this like riveting statement, everyone is looking, and Gother makes a statement, it's like, we know all too well, because they all have found family in the 7 Deadly Sins, so they do understand like his feelings, because they've gone through something similar. And with this great and like wonderful moment where everything seems to be coming together, you get a monster of atrocities. You get Cthulhu's young half-brother, just an embodiment of everything that is just evil and malice and ugly and just monstrous. The demon, he basically summons like his demon creature and is like, rip out their entrails, beast of darkness. And then after this happens, and he's like about to like, Escanor goes to defeat him, and it's like, I swore on that day that I will risk this life for my friends. And everyone's just looking at him. It's like, I will stick this life for my friends for the 7 Deadly Sins. And then all of them are just looking, and they're feeling sad because they think like, Escanor is about to die, and there's nothing that we can do. But it's right before he's able to deliver the blow, Meliodas comes in demon form, because we have to remember, he hasn't been in demon form the entire time because he's been holding back. But realizing that Escanor is going full force, he's like, well, if you're going to put your life on the line, we're all going to do it. We're all going to put the lives on our line for you, which makes sense, because if I remember correctly, that's one of the rules of the 7 Deadly Sins, in a sense where it's like, if one of them needs help, we'll all come to help them, no matter what it is. So in this case, like, he's risking his life for them, and they're like, okay, fine, you're going to risk your life for us? We'll do the exact same thing to you. Why? Because with the Deadly Sins, we're family. And Escanor sees all of this, and he's like, they all are like do this, and they like basically just go ham on this demon monster using probably their most powerful attacks. And then just obliterates it. Like, there's nothing remaining. And, like, the Demon King, I'm fairly certain, is just sent flying. And then after this, Escanor just, like, calls out every one of the Sins just by name. And he refers to Captain. And he's like, forgive me. And he talks about he can't, like, stop now. Because, like, he's pumping his own life force into this. Where, like, and we also remember that he can only do this one last time. So if, like, he stops doing it now, he's going to die immediately. And it's like, which is weirdly enough, like, he gives the order. Meliodas, even though he's like the captain of the 7 Deadly Sins, Escanor gives an order, which makes sense because he's like the second strongest. Maybe behind Bane or ahead of Bane on, but that's really out of it. But he basically says, ask him, fight along with me. Let me fight with the 7 Deadly Sins basically one last time. And with Meliodas like wiping his face, it's as if he's like wiping away tears because he realizes that this is going to be Escanor's final fight. not just as a part of the seven deadly sins, but being alive. And this is juxtaposed with Escanor looking at the captain Meliodas, with the second half of Escanor in like the background like this. You have the prideful self, which will be my face, and then you have like the meek face, which is like this. And it's in the background. That juxtaposition shows that this prideful Escanor is basically the pride of Escanor, his first personality and his second personality fully coming out together. Which makes sense because this is basically going to be his last stand. And there's like then Meliodas like we're all friends until the bitter end. Implying more that basically Escanor is going to die. And that's how the chapter ends. So basically just more death flags are the death of Escanor. Basically among the 7 sins who will die, Escanor is most likely to die. Which is very ironic because he was seen to be the strongest, not just sin, but the strongest human. Because basically everyone else is basically inhuman. Even Bond, who like, you couldn't kill him, but even now you can't kill him, but he could still potentially die because he gave up his morality. But realistically speaking, Escanor is human, like full-blood human. And the only thing that distinguished him was his curse, which was the sunshine, which was taken away. So Escanor is the most human of humans, and it makes sense that he would be the one to die, being both the strongest as well as being technically of the weakest race. So all in all, I think this was a really good chapter. I think it was a good chapter to follow up the previous chapter, and what I said in the last video came basically to fruition, where it would be we initially get back to the fighting. But next chapter is Zeldatros versus the Demon King, so it's going to be more of a mindscape battle that we saw with Meliodas the first time his body was taken over by the Demon King. So I think it was a really good chapter. It shows even more character development for Escanor, showing that how his pride isn't just pride in his power, but pride in like his life to protect his friends, and how he would allow himself to die if it meant upholding his pride towards his friends and making sure like they are safe, even if it means he has to sacrifice his life in the same vein as how Rosa sacrificed her life for him. It's like a chain, and even though Meliodas was unable to break that chain, realistically speaking, he's the end of it. So all in all, very good chapter. Enjoyed the action. I enjoyed the Demon King just being stomped on twice. Enjoyed more character development for Escanor, as well as seeing Meliodas' resolve in accepting a friend's death. So all in all, I would say it's a very good chapter. If anything, I'll probably give it a score of like a 3.5 to a 4. It's very good, it's above average, but still, good chapter nevertheless. But hopefully y'all enjoyed this review of the 7 Deadly Sins. Unfortunately, we're going to be on break next week, so there may not be another video for me on this day for maybe another 2 weeks or so, give or take how my schedule is going to be. But hopefully I will try to post my videos, my reviews of the manga that I'm reading, specifically 7 Deadly Sins and My Hero, whenever I'm able to get to it. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll be able to see you either this Thursday, this Friday, and if not, I will hopefully see you next week or the week after that. So until then, catch you guys later. Bye!